for both John and Jason here. What do you think is the biggest need going into this draft for the San Francisco 49ers? John, we'll start with you.
I want to say make Trey Lance comfortable, right? Like if you want to throw a position out there, that's fine. Interior offensive line, whether you want to go depth at wide receiver, like that's what I care about more than anything. Most years you probably look at how can you make the whole team better? And I think that's a great question. And free agents wise, they did that. Right now, I don't care about anything else. Trey Lance needs to be comfortable. That's what I want.
Absolutely. And 49ers, George, you're a psycho. You're a psychopath with a $100 super chat, my guy. I'm pumped. Too many legends on the show. Straight Jack, let's get it. And you know what?
George
let's get to it. He is. Yeah, let's get to it with Jason here. Jason, what do you think the biggest need is?
And I mean, I think it's an interior offensive line. Like John alluded to it a little bit, and he just made the move. But when you look at the actual, what is what's going into this team as a solid, it's left tackle. We think Alex Mack is coming back. We don't know that Aaron Banks will be as good as he is, even though he's sliding into his natural position. Daniel Brunskill has a chance to come back. Do we even know if Mike McGlinchey is going to be ready to go, no matter what John Lynch sidesteps on any question that I asked him on the combine? So we are going to find out. Like, I think that obviously the way that this team builds is within the trenches on the defensive side and on the offensive line side. So I think offensive line is going to be your biggest need because you have your defensive line largely intact and you can still make moves to improve those on the same way. But you already have that intact. The offensive line needs a little bit more.
I have a question for you. At pick 61, is offensive line a target? Because you wonder if there's enough value for the offensive line at 61, or is that more of a 93 or a 105? What's your guys' feeling on offensive line at 61? Because I've been kind of feeling that they need to go impact player. Well, that's an impact edge rusher that's going to, get after the quarterback, or a big-time receiver that can help the quarterback. But I do want to know what your guys' opinions are, because I think 61 is kind of an interesting place to pick.
They went there even higher last year, right? I mean, yes, they fell back in the second round, but they still went interior offensive line and then sat them, redshirted them, which I'm making a shirt right now that says I got drafted by the 49ers and all I got was this red shirt from Kyle. That's like why it's what he does. But yeah, 100% you can go there and it would not be bad. There are some targets there, which depending on the mock draft simulator we use, guys like Dylan Parham, I don't want to get into too many names right now, that, oh man, just get me excited. Get me really excited.
Agreed there.
Yeah, and I think that edge was the first thing that I walked away from when we were scouting at the Senior Bowl. You looked at a bunch of some of those edge guys that, like, there's some of the best in the world right now at this point, and that was where I would walk away with somebody. But at this point, I think the 49ers will play best player available because they do have needs outside of just edge. They can use a strong safety. They can use interior all line. So I think it's how the board lays. And I think that the beautiful part about the evaluation process that we all have is for 1 month, we have it set a certain way. When things start to fall a different way, you start to find out that other teams are interested in other things. And that's what I think makes this so interesting, because there will be guys that fall, and not because they're not good players, but because teams are addressing their needs other than that. So I think the 49ers will play best player available, but I do think that they have in mind edge rusher, which is something that they prioritize the entire time during this regime, which is John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
Just want to say thanks for watching and supporting the 49ers Rush podcast channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so in the middle of the screen now. And here are a few extra videos if you want to check that out for some more 49ers content. Just want to say thank you. And as always, stay strong, faithful.